to share with you some yoga that will help for fibromyalgia. I know that people who suffer from fibromyalgia, it can be very difficult for you. I'm sure that's why you're coming to this video, for you to move at all, that your muscles ache, there's a lot of tenderness and headaches, and basically every symptom that will oppose you from doing any physical activity. This yoga practice, it's not going to be vigorous at all. It's restorative, slow yoga, which is really just going to it's going to trigger the relaxation response within your body. So you will feel more relaxed, less stressed, and less agitation, less anxiety. All these things that will trigger the fibromyalgia. So it's very gentle exercise. We are stretching the body. There will be some things that are maybe slightly challenging, but it's more so in the mind, and it's more so about being able to come to your breath and allow your inhales and your exhales to relax you within a posture that we're going to hold for about 5 minutes each time. So get yourself really comfortable. We're going to need a bolster, a couple of blankets, some blocks, maybe some sandbags. If you don't have these things at home, then don't worry, it's okay. You could improvise with stuff. Obviously, blankets, I'm hoping that you do have some at home. If you don't, just go grab one from any shop down the road. B&M, they've got loads of blankets. And blocks, you can use books, a bolster, maybe just a pillow. Pillow is a perfect thing, one that's a little bit firmer. You can stack 2 pillows on top of each other. So it's doable. You don't need to buy into all the different yoga accessories, but it does make this practice a little bit easier for you. So maybe you can put it on your Christmas list. Before you get started, if you want to put some relaxing music on, I'll put a link in the description below for stuff that I like to listen to. Also, if you have an oil diffuser, then I really recommend using either rosemary, peppermint, or lavender oil. All 3 of them are really calming and relaxing oils. Peppermint, as well as relaxing and calming, also is quite energizing. So depending on what you feel, do your own research. Pop a little bit in your oil diffuser, or you can even just have it on a handkerchief and have it next to you. But I really recommend it during this practice because it will help you get deeper. Okay, so we're going to begin seated. So if you find it difficult to be in a seated position, then you can get a blanket, fold it up, place it under your hips, and that'll just raise your hips up off the sit bones, up off the ground a little bit, and your knees should fall down and you should be able to sit up straighter. If you still need to elevate, that's okay, no worries, just keep folding up the blanket or sit on a block or a cushion. So once you've found yourself a comfortable seat, we're going to close our eyes, bring our hands to our knees with our palms facing down, and gently begin to tune into our breath. Inhaling through the nostrils, down into the belly, and exhaling out through the nostrils, allowing the belly to fall. Really concentrating on this slow abdominal breath. You can maybe place a hand on your belly, which is quite good to remind you to expand the belly and release the belly. If you suffer with stress or anxiety, you'll find that usually your breath is coming from the chest. We breathe these short inhales and exhales, which trigger this response in the body, the cortisol response, the stress response. But when we train ourselves to breathe from the abdomen, then we trigger our relaxation response. So when we have control of breath, we have control of the mind. We're going to set an intention for the class today. Anything that you might be personally working on, might be cultivating some patience, compassion for yourself, for your body, anything that you can think of, hold it in your mind right now. Breathe it into your being and hold that with you for the rest of this practice. You can slowly flutter open the eyes. I'm just going to bring some movement into our shoulders, so really slow movements, circling the shoulders forward. As we inhale, the shoulders come up. As we exhale, the shoulders come down. And we'll go back, inhaling up, exhaling down. And then the shoulders can be a tender point when you're suffering with fibromyalgia, as well as the knees. So if you do feel any pressure in your knees, you can take a washcloth, or if you do have sandbags, and place them in between the knees. And then we'll come back to neutral. So from here we're going to bring ourselves down, lying flat on our backs. And we're going to grab, before we do, just a couple of blocks or books. Bring them either side of your knees. We'll bring the soles of our feet together. Walk them slightly outwards. Have the blocks in at your legs at the point where you feel just a slight bit of tension in the knees. You want them to be working just slightly, but not too much, because we're going to be here for about 5 minutes. So from this point, if you use your hands to lower yourself down to the mat, you can rest your hands on the floor, on your belly, whichever feels right for you. Tuning into the breath here. This pose is called Supta Baddha Konasana, or reclined bound angle. It's an amazing posture to do if you're suffering from menstrual cramps, if you're about to give birth, and also if you suffer from a lot of stress and anxiety. It really helps to relieve those unwanted thoughts in the mind. Just being with the breath here in this pose. You can always have a little shuffle around if you feel like the pose needs to be tweaked a little bit. You might want to bring your heels closer in You might want to move the blocks slightly further out if you feel like your knees are able to get that little bit more towards the ground as your muscles begin to relax. But we're going to be here for just a few more minutes. Okay, slowly going to take our hands to our knees and bring them together. Bring the knees into the chest, squeezing the thighs in. And returning the feet to the mat. And using your arms to push yourself up to a seated position. We'll take our blocks and put them out to the side. And we're going to come into a wide-legged child's pose. So you might need a blanket for this, a bolster, maybe 2 blankets. We'll have a little play around with it. So if you bring your bolster out in front of you on your mat, bring your toes together, knees slightly wide, so it really is dependent on how flexible you are in your hips. If you are flexible in your hips, then you can have your knees as wide as the mat, maybe wider. But remember that this is restorative yin yoga and we don't want to push ourselves too far. So if you bring your knees to a suitable distance, put your bolster out in front of you, maybe a blanket on top, and we're going to walk our hands forward and fold ourselves over onto our bolster. Using our hands to press yourself up, just so we can turn our head to the other side, making sure to be even with the neck. Returning to our breath, feeling the belly expand between the thighs on your inhale and fall away on your exhale. We'll come slowly out of the posture, pushing into the hands, walking the hands closer into the body, coming up straight. We'll remove the blanket, the bolster, blanket between our heels if we had one there. Just pop them out to the side. We're going to come with our legs straight out in front of us. And for many people this is quite tight. If you've got tight hamstrings, if you're a runner, or if you spend a lot of time sitting down all day or running around all day, basically we get tight hamstrings. So you can have your knees bent here, don't worry. And if you do find that you're straining in your back and it's rounding quite a bit, then again, we'll do the same like we did in the seated pose and pop a blanket just underneath our hips just to raise them up slightly. And again, you can keep raising until you feel comfortable in the posture. And from here, we'll take our bolster, pop it on the front of our legs, and actually we'll grab a block as well. So legs out straight. We'll place the block on our knees, on our calves, sorry. So you're kind of creating this bridge for your body to lie on. We'll bring our hands beside our body. Fold with the chest coming over and placing your head on the bolster. So again, you can play around with this, with the height of the bolster. You can bring that block further up the legs, making the bolster higher. You can rest there. Just whatever feels good for you. Remembering to breathe. Walking our hands up and placing our head the other side, so stretching out the neck. Maintaining those deep inhales and long exhales. With each exhale, you might feel like you're folding a little bit further over your legs. So again, you can tweak your props. Coming out of the posture, slowly walking our hands back into the body, sitting up straight. We'll remove our props out to the side. So the next posture that we're going to do, if you want to bring both legs in, sit cross-legged, is you'll need a wall. So if you want to take yourself to any wall, don't worry if it's got stuff on it. I'm going to be around these plants. We'll take our blanket. Take a blanket and fold it up so it's about this size. We'll place it on the floor, just about 30 centimeters away from the wall. We'll walk our bum into the wall so that the sit bones are just dropping off the blanket. And then bring your legs up against the wall. So the blanket is there for your lower back. It's raising your sit bones up off the ground as well to allow your legs to be a little bit straighter. Don't worry if your knees are bent here, if you have a lot of tightness in the hamstrings. Legs can be straight or bent. What's also really nice in this pose, but which is a little bit tricky to do, is grab a couple of sandbags if you have them. Don't worry if you don't. You'll place one on one foot, one on the other, and then extend your legs up to the sky. So the sandbags just act as a weight on the foot to bring the weight of the legs down into the hips and into the lower back. So this posture is really good for relieving mild back pain. It's great for reversing the lymph fluid in the legs, and it's basically just known in yoga to alleviate any illness that you possibly have. If you do this every single day, I tell you now, you'll definitely feel 1,000,000 times better. It's very calming for the mind. Having your legs extended over your hips, above your heart, allows the blood flow to reach the heart that little bit quicker. So and get that blood pumping around faster. Just tuning into your breath in this pose. Making sure to experience the full expression of your breath. Noticing if you're shallow breathing. Relaxing the muscles in the jaw, softening the eyes, smoothing the brow. So allowing gravity to do the work for you. If you at any point feel a tingling in the legs, then bring the soles of the feet together, bend the knees and bring the legs down the wall. Wait for the pins and needles to go, and then you can extend your legs back up to the sky. come out of the posture, we'll do the same as you would do if you had tingling. Bring the soles of the feet together, drawing those feet down, opening up the knees, bringing the knees in, and then we'll just rock over to one side and push ourselves up. Heading into our next position, Shavasana. So if you feel any tenderness in your lower back, then you want to grab a blanket for this. Maybe a slightly thinner blanket. Roll it up to place underneath your lower back. Have your bolster, if you have one, underneath your knees. And then gently lie back in your Shavasana. Your legs are slightly apart, ankles are relaxed outwards. Arms are extended down beside the body, palms facing upwards towards the sky. Tuning into your breath. As you exhale, release any tension that you may be holding. Allow your body to completely relax. Muscles in the jaw. Allow your eyes to be heavy in their sockets. The muscles around the eyes, allow them to smooth. Feel like your face is melting towards the ground. Completely relaxed, allowing gravity to do the work for you. Taking your attention down to your shoulders. We carry a lot of tension in our shoulders, so allow this tension to dissolve into the earth. Feel your shoulders heavy and supported. Take your attention down the body, down the arms and into the hands. Allow the hands to be heavy. Feel the energy in your hands. Breathe into this space. Traveling our attention now further down the body into the hip space. Breathe into this space and allow it to be supported. Release the space into the earth. Feeling relaxed in the hips, take your attention down thighs to the tops of the knees and the backs of the knees. Allow this area to completely relax. Release any unwanted tension. following the relaxation down the body into the calf muscles and the feet. Allow these areas to be completely heavy into the earth, releasing any tension in the ankles, giving yourself permission to relax. Breathing into relaxation within your feet, giving them the rest that they deserve. Slowly begin to bring ourselves back to our physical body. Bringing movement into the fingers and the toes and the ankles. Bring one knee into the chest, followed by the other. And we'll fall over to one side, using our hands to push ourselves up to a seated position. Keeping those eyes closed. You can peek them open if you need your blanket to sit on. Bringing our hands into our heart center at Anjali Mudra. The light and love within me bows and sees the light and love within you. Namaste.